It's the Loan Show on KSRO with George Adair. Call in with your questions now at 636-1350.
And we're back. Okay, so we're going to talk about some sophisticated strategies to pay down your mortgage quicker. So if you're not, if you're able to actually write down some numbers, it actually might help you. I'm going to try and keep this as simple as possible. But man, it's hot today.
It is. It got hot.
What's going on?
I don't know. I think it might even hit like the upper 70s today. That's crazy.
It's winter, right?
Yeah, technically it still is.
I don't think it is. I think it's a lie. I think we're already in springtime. Okay, I want to also invite you to give us a call here, number 636-1350. 636-1350. And you can also email me. I have a special designated email address at KSRO, which is loanshow@ksro.com. So if you want to shoot me an email, I'll be happy to get back to you. We also have a Facebook page, and I put links up there. And that Facebook page is facebook.com/Bay Equity Loans. Stop on by, check it out. Okay, folks, a lot of people have their mortgage and they look at it and they think, how do I pay it down faster? Maybe you're underwater and you don't have the ability to refinance it. You feel trapped. You feel like you're never going to get there. That's common. Others have equity and they just don't take the time to actually stop and look and see and improve their balance sheet with their house. Remember, your house creates the biggest liability. And most people listening, it's the biggest liability they have. It's also going to be the one debt they may never actually pay off. You know, some people will pass their house on to their estate. Some people will sell it before they pay it off. So they'll pay it off by selling it, but they won't actually have paid off their loan before doing that. I remember I did a loan for somebody back in, it was like 2003, I think. And these folks had paid off their 30-year loan, and they went 3 years with no mortgage. And then they came to me and they got a $400,000 mortgage, all cash. Yeah. Yeah. You know, people do what they do. And I want to help people today by just going over a couple quick ideas. A lot of people have heard of biweekly payments. In fact, your existing lender is probably sending you a notification saying, hey, you should get into a biweekly program. Now, for the lender's perspective, they're doing it because they want to charge you about $3 per period of time. They have this surcharge. Bi-weekly payments are actually pretty good. The way it works is you make one extra month's worth of payments a year. So you end up making 26 total payments instead of what would end up being 12 payments. So there's an additional 2 bi-weekly payments thrown in there. Simply making a bi-weekly payment will reduce your loan balance. So let me give you some numbers. Follow me, folks. If you had a $200,000 loan and your rate was 6%, you're going to pay $231,000 in interest over the life of your loan. It's a lot of interest. So you owe $200,000. You owe it at a rate of 6%. You're going to have paid back $231,000 on top of the original loan amount. Wow. Back to your lender. That's a $1,200 a month payment. A lot of people out there have a 6% loan. Now, 6% in the big scheme of things was okay. I think for the last 10 years, we've all been familiar with the phrase interest rates are at all-time lows. Well, whether it was 6%, 5%, or 4%, people will always use that. So 6% is a good rate, but it's not as good as the rates we are today. If you didn't want to refinance, let's say you couldn't, you could get into a biweekly program and within 24 years, pay your loan off. So you'll have saved 6 years of life on your mortgage, and you will have paid about $50,000 less in interest by simply making one extra payment a year. But you do it over 26 payments a year.
Is that significantly increasing your payment amount, or is it?
No, it ends up being the same thing. So you end up with, on this particular example, you end up with 2 payments a month of $600 each. Okay. And then there'll be 2 months out of the year where you're actually making a third payment because of how the biweekly schedules work. So that's one strategy. Another strategy for homeowners underwater is to pay $200 more a month than you pay right now. So if you pay $200 more per month on your existing mortgage, you will save $80,000 in interest. You'll have paid off your loan in 21 years. So it's not biweekly. It's just finding a way to come up with an extra $200. What's that? Couple family outings a month,
right.
To pay off your loan 9 years faster. But here's what I want you to think about, and we're going to go into break with this. What if we could show you a way to keep your payment the same as if you paid $200 more a month? So your payment goes $1,400 a month, and you pay your loan off 15 years faster, and you do it by saving approximately $100,000 in interest, maybe $150,000 in interest.
Wow.
That's what a 15-year amortized loan does. So we're going to go into break. I want you to think about that, and then I want you to call us, 636-1350, 636-1350. See you in a few minutes.
To find out more about Bay Equity Home Loans, call George Adair at 707-583-8100. That's 707-583-8100.
Hey there, Sonoma County. This is George Adair, host of the all-new Loan Show on KSRO. I'm inviting KSRO listeners to join me on Wednesday at 12:30 for a lighthearted but informative look at mortgage and real estate matters that affect you. I want your calls and questions, so join me Wednesdays at 12:30 for the Loan Show on KSRO. Folks, you know I'm always touting the benefits of a 15-year fixed loan, right? My logic is simple. Most people will save over $100,000 in interest. You could actually own your home free and clear by the time you retire. I want you to know that Bay Equity Home Loans is offering a 15-year loan at 3.25%, APR 3.39%. So call me at 583-8100 and see if you qualify for this amazingly low fixed rate loan and start paying your loan off for good. Call 583-8100 and see how much you can save. That number again is 583-8100. Don't forget to tune into the Loan Show on KSRO every Wednesday at 12:30.
Department of Corporations number 6053919, NMLS 238915, Equal Housing Lender.
For you, golf is not just a pastime, it's an obsession. Add to that breathtaking ocean views, lush green hills, and delectable wine country cuisine, and you've found heaven at the Blue Water Bistro and the Links at Bodega Harbor.
Now's a great time to spend the day golfing at the links. With the course in great shape, their low winter rates, and typically mild winter weather, why golf anywhere else? Monday through Thursday, it's only 45, weekend 65. If you take advantage of their twilight rates and tee off after 12 noon, rates start at 35. Only $35 to golf on one of the area's most spectacular courses overlooking the beautiful Pacific coast. For more information or reservations, call 800-59-COAST.
Log on to bodegaharbor.golf.com to learn more. We're just a short drive from where you are, but miles from the ordinary. The Blue Water Bistro and the Links at Bodega Harbor in Bodega Bay, where the wine country meets the Pacific.
It's the Loan Show on KSRO with George Adair. Call in with your questions now at 636-1350.
Okay, so we left the last segment talking about different strategies to pay your mortgage off faster. So I want to reiterate something. If you are a person who can't qualify for a new loan, maybe you're not able to refinance because you're upside down on your equity, that's okay. I'm not just here to solicit business. Sometimes it sounds that way, I know, but I want to be informative for everybody out there. 25% or more of the homeowners are underwater. So the two first strategies I gave were the biweekly. You don't have to refinance. You just have to set up a biweekly arrangement with your current lender. And by doing that, you'll pay your loan off about 20% faster. You'll pay it off and save yourself about $50,000 in interest. If you pay another $200 a month, you'll find yourself in a position where you are able to save about $80,000 in interest. So these aren't refinances. This is just strictly using simple math amortization principles to do it.
Is there a fine for paying more on your loan?
It's a good question. There is no penalty at this point because it's basically illegal, and I'm just going to say illegal with an asterisk. I'm not a lawyer, but the regulations now prevent payment penalties. And anyone who had a loan prior to that, the prepayment penalties are expired now.
Okay.
I don't know anyone that has prepayment penalties.
Good to know.
The last prepayment penalties were done in 2008. And so if you do want to pay your principal off and you do have a prepayment penalty, you also are allowed to pay up to 20% a year of your principal without a penalty. Okay, now let's jump into a 15-year. If you have a 15-year mortgage, today the rate's 3.25%. APR is about 3.35. That's what we're quoting now. So you'll pay a little bit for that loan. But your payment will only be $1,400 a month on a $200,000 mortgage. So we just talked about a $200,000 mortgage at 6% was $1,200 a month. So a $200,000 mortgage at 3.25% on a 15-year is only $1,400 a month. It's the same as paying $200 extra a month on your mortgage without refinancing, right? But your total interest on that loan for $200,000 is only $52,000. You'll save $180,000 in interest. Now, a lot of people like to put their money in the stock market, which is kind of a gamble. But it's not a gamble to put money into your mortgage if you don't plan on moving. So I want you to think about those numbers as I go to this caller. We have Mark in Healdsburg. Mark, you have a question for me on the loan show.
Yes. I tried to get my B of A, was originally a countrywide loan, redone through them. Modified, and they refused. They just kept playing all these different tricks, giving the wrong zip code, giving the wrong fax number, just everything they could do to disqualify me. And after 2 years, they finally disqualified me for good. And so I went to Amerifi, and they are telling me that I can get up to $150,000 off my principal and an interest rate as low as 2%. And I'd like to know if you've heard some feedback from people as to what the final negotiations have laid out to be, of what B of A, what's their bottom line, where they'll finally go down to.
It's a really good question, Mark. You basically have expressed the sentiment of the rest of the world that's tried to modify. Well, actually 90% statistically have failed at modifying their mortgages. First off, anyone that says they can modify your mortgage for you is only doing the same exact thing that you can do for yourself. Okay, that's a really important point. Now, you may choose to work with a law firm or work with a real estate company that's licensed to do this, but you should never pay any advance fees. So I'm not familiar with Amerifi. Did they try and charge you an advance fee to do this?
No,
Okay.
They've only asked me to put a deposit in escrow, and those escrow instructions are specifically laid out that until there is a final contract that we accept from the bank, they are not to get that money from the escrow account.
So that's called an advance fee agreement, and I wish we had more time to get into details about that, but I would invite you to call me. Let's talk about that before you give any money up for modification, okay? Advance fee agreements use escrow accounts. It's kind of a gimmick. I don't know this company, and so, as a listener here, I just want to offer you my, totally unfiltered, honest opinion, which is be very cautious. Now, you asked me a specific question. Can you get a modification that reduces your principal by $150K and gets your rate down to 2%? Those exist through the HAMP program. The HAMP program is available to you without using a third-party company. If you spent 2 years trying to get a modification yourself, I highly doubt a third-party company is going to be able to help you any better. And right. I'm sorry that that's probably the case, but that would be my initial assessment, okay? So I've given my email address out to folks. Mark, I hope you can take it down. Give me an email. You can also leave your number with our call screener, and I'd be happy to discuss this with you.
I've got a pen.
Okay, my email address is loanshow at KSRO.com, or call us at our office. If anybody else has similar questions, our office is 583-8100. That's 583-8100. Mark, I really appreciate your call. I'd love to talk to you. We're running out of time. Folks, Thank you for your call. I appreciate you joining us today on the Loan Show. We're going to sign off here today, but come by, visit us on the corner of 4th and D. We're Bay Equity Home Loans. I'm George Adair. Have a great week. Let's talk next Wednesday at 12:30.